Hey guys, welcome to the podcast, Living with No Excuses. I'm Noah Galloway, and here we get to meet real people that have overcome some of life's toughest hurdles and come out stronger because of it. Today we have Sam Schmidt. Sam, now we know each other, and I've gotten to know you a little bit here and there. I know your story. I'm excited to share your story. One, thanks for coming on. Honored to have you on the show.
Not a problem, man.
And we'll get into, the big story in a minute. I want to dive into what I'm interested in knowing. I want to start in Lincoln, Nebraska. I want to hear about where Sam grew up and how you got to how you got into racing. What led you to to this world?
Well, I wasn't in Lincoln very long. My dad lives on a farm about 20 minutes away from Lincoln, and he had an opportunity to go to California, make race cars when I was really young. So he didn't have to think twice about that. And they drove a beautiful car, him and my mom and me, and went out there. We were supposed to be there 3 months and never went back. And he started racing in California. I mean, late 60s, early 70s was a hot bit of activity as far as everything from drag racing to off-road racing to you name it. So he made a name for himself in off-road racing. And when I was 5, I got a Honda 50 and started racing motocross, and the rest is history. At a young age, my hero, got him Rick Mears from Bakersfield, California, who rose through the ranks, ultimately drove for Roger Penske, and won 4 Indy 500. So, long story short, worked my tail off really, really, really hard and made it to Indy 500, 97, 98, 99. And right after I won a big race here in Las Vegas, September 99, 4 months later was paralyzed. So it's a true roller coaster.
There's a lot of questions that come out of that. First one has got to be, how do you pull a farmer out of Nebraska and say, hey, come work on race car? What was he doing outside of farming?
Well, he was well known for his welding capabilities, and he worked as a welder in Lincoln and different jobs. He was a hustler. He played 3 instruments in a band. He worked on the farm. He worked all kinds of jobs to make ends meet. But at the end of the day, I think I'm a pretty good combination of sort of Midwest values. They're still married after 61 years, and I can definitely tell you my mom got the short end of that stick. But she persevered, and now Sheila and I are going on 33 years. So, but yeah, I now live in Las Vegas for the last 29 years, and we love it here for a lot of reasons.
Now, where did you and Sheila meet? How did y'all get together? Where were you? How did it happen?
Yeah, at college. And just a true funny story. I was a junior, she was a sophomore, and my roommate took her out on a date. One date to be exact, and the rest is history. So, but it was a long history in that didn't actually get married for 8 years later. I was immature and stupid, and left, came back, and luckily about the 4th time she'd still have me.
Yeah, well, I think me and my wife had that same kind of story. All right, so y'all get married, and so she moves to Vegas with you because that y'all were married before you.
Yeah, I know we were married 1992, and I was still racing full time. We actually moved to Las Vegas in November 1995. And then, we've been ever since. Raised kids were born in 97, 99. And then I got hurt in 2000. And it was a true silver lining, because now that I've traveled the world in a wheelchair, I can honestly raise my hand and say, this is the most accessible city in the world, largely because of tourism. I'd fly anywhere in the world nonstop. It's flat, it's warm. Everything's been built in the last 15 years, so it's accessible. And it's just a really positive environment for business, and it works out well.
So that's where your children, Spencer and Savannah, I've gotten the opportunity to meet them.
Yep.
Amazing people. So that's where they've grown up.
Absolutely. Born and raised here, which is the reason my daughter went off to college and said she'd never be back. She was looking for seasons, and ironically, still doesn't have them, but she lives in San Clemente.
Yeah.
She lives in San Clemente. She met her husband at college, and she's not coming back to Vegas. Too warm for her.
Yeah. Now she has a baby.
Baby will be 2, and another one on the way. Lennon will be 2 in May, a couple weeks, and then they're having a boy in July. So it's just like her and Spencer. They're going to have a match set.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so they were extremely young when you got injured. So when I think back to my kids 2 of them weren't born yet. My oldest son was a baby when I got injured. This is all they know of me. So, I mean, what challenges did you face as a father with your injury and having such young kids?
No, I was 6 months and 2.5, and I did 6 months of what I call hardcore inpatient rehabilitation to get off the ventilator, get healthy, come home, relatively prepared for life. And we had to make a conscious decision early on. My wife can either take care of me or, raise the kids the way we wanted them raised. And I think we definitely chose that way because I thought that was important. And, I figured out how to get it done, whether it be care attendants or PTs, OTs, working out, and ultimately starting my race team a year later, how to travel and everything else. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. It's, I can come up with a long list of, can't play hoops with them, can't teach them how to drive, can't, toss the ball, coach their teams. I mean, it's 1,000 things that I hate about it. And but I think it's also a blessing in that I think there's some of that made them turn out to be incredibly great kids. Seeing what we had to do to get to what we got and how we overcame it. Really, they have no excuses. There's nothing they can't accomplish in life. That was a sales pitch, by the way, for no excuses. But they realized like they can never whine to me about getting out of bed or being challenged because they never saw me not, even though I'm sitting here not moving, I'm always in a constant state of motion. So they can't complain about anything. And now that Spencer's racing, of all things, mom's not too happy about that, but it's kind of.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, kind of the nut doesn't fall far from the tree, but so yeah, and then again, Savannah with the babies, and it's great. San Clemente's not a bad place to visit, so we'll spend most of the summer down there, and she was liking that.
Well, so okay, Spencer's racing. So let's talk about why Sheila may have a problem with it. Let's talk about what happened January 6th of 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. And even prior to that, what I had mentioned before, that when I was 11, I was racing, but my dad was racing down in Mexico, and he had an accident with somebody coming backwards because they race down there on gravel roads that are commonly used by farmers and stuff. And somebody was coming backwards on a track, blind corner. My dad hit him, he hit him, whatever. And my dad was paralyzed on the right side and lost his speech. They said he'd never walk or talk again. But, in true farmer fashion. He walks and talks fine. No, it's making me cry. Yeah, I mean, true farm boy fashion. You want him to do something, tell him he can't do it. And I watched him do 2 years outpatient therapy, 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, and again, didn't know how much I would need that inspiration 25 years later. And so now, yeah, it's the good news is he waited until he was 22 to go racing, so probably saved me a lot of money over the previous 15 years. But he knows he's got to make a go of it pretty quick and start winning races, or else it's going to end, you know. But but he's a good kid, and they're both really well grounded and giving, and just a lot of positives, you know. And so I guess at the end of the day, if in some kind of freak way, if this happened to me and they want to be perfectly healthy and live full lives and don't have to deal with this with their kids, I mean, it's a silver lining. But and that, as everybody says, grandparenting is really, really unique, and I mean, fantastic, even better than having kids, because you can give them back. But
yeah, that's what my parents say.
But you know, my wife again put up with me for 32 plus years, so she needs to, you know, what we do from here on out really needs to benefit her.
Now you have in Vegas, there's Conquer Paralysis Now, and Driven. Are they both? They're both there now. In Indianapolis, I've been to. Did y'all end up starting on that facility? Because I got to tour it when it was empty. When y'all took over the building, how far has that come along? And that's the Driven, or both that and Conquer Paralysis Now?
So the foundation is called Conquer Paralysis Now, and it supports a number of initiatives, including research and other things for neurological disorders. Driven is the activity-based training facility. We have one here downtown, and then the one in Indy is substantially larger. We had an opportunity to buy a sports club and on 10 acres, and it's great location, great situation. We opened the Driven there last October 1st. It's 30,000 square feet, all the state-of-the-art equipment for rehabilitation, 2 pools. And then we're expanding this year with adaptive sports in some of it. And then upstairs will be a co-work environment for all the services that people with neurological needs need. I mean, mental health services, canine companions, transportation, affordable housing, that'll all be based upstairs. So it's kind of it's a new model. Really, nobody's done it in the US where under one roof is kind of everything you need. And that's driven by the fact that we have the space, but also, you know, these vans and everything are so expensive, and people just can't get the services they need very easily. So we're trying to make a little bit of one-stop shop, and you know, Midwest obviously has great, robust healthcare. There's 3-level traumas in Indianapolis, a lot of neuro research being done. So we just want to be part of the solution, you know, do some rehabilitation, do some research, have it be all encompassing. And, you know, now with a lot of other stuff going on, everybody's going to need human clinical trials. So we're endeavoring to be the best at the rehabilitation side of that.
You know, what I love about it is just like before I could even say it, you're like, everything's in one place, because, well, you know what it's like, how difficult it is to travel, you know, and to expect someone, you know, if they have to, you know, unfortunately, some people live in areas that don't have that opportunity, but to have to go to this appointment here, this appointment there. And with that being said, how much would you say, with everything that, as this is being built and what you've accomplished with Conquer Paralysis Now already, how much, I can already imagine it, but tell us, how much does that positively affect the families? Because you know what it puts on the families.
Yeah, I have always realized since day one that I all I had to do was look around the hospital. I had professional athlete insurance. I stayed 6 months, which is unheard of. Great family packed up and moved to St. Louis to do rehab with me. And in the entirety of the motorsports community that sent me cards and letters, supported me. We all know that is not 99.9% of the population. And now what I'm finding out is my level of injury, you're lucky to get 4 weeks in rehab. And sorry, you don't have insurance, send you home. It is, as you just said, probably worse on the family than it is on the person in the chair because it turns their lives upside down. It's at least a 65% divorce rate. It's an undocumented suicide rate. I don't know what that is. And so I think as time has gone on, through the racing and everything else, I just started to find more and more of these families getting blown up. I found what an impact we had with the smaller driven here on hundreds of families and people. It's the simplest things, right? Just not being shut-ins, getting out of their house, working out at the open gym, getting married, getting degrees, finding another occupation, setting goals. And that, I didn't anticipate the reaction, right? But that had an impact on me like none other. And that's why we got to do more. We're either going to, help other people get started in different markets or, plan them ourselves. But for the remaining time that I have on earth, that's what I'm focused on. I didn't like the idea of selling my race team because it meant so much to me, but we closed that deal with McLaren F1. Can't have a better partner than them globally right now. And we want to focus on this. It's already helped thousands of people, but I think the latest statistic is, 5.4 million people living in the U.S. with some form of paralysis. So we can never help everybody, but we're hoping to help as many as we can.
Yeah. And going back to the family aspect of things, I mean, I think that you can agree with me on this. I remember, and I've met other people, like, it's one thing to be injured and you're worried about yourself, but you can't help but think, how is this nobody wants to be a burden on their family. And you worry about what you're going to do, how this is going to impact your family. Of course, you're a success story. I've had a success story, but yeah, not everybody gets that. And I love that you see that, because getting men and women who have had something like this happen to them get moving and then have the support for their family is what's necessary, is what's needed.
It's a level of pride. And I like the fact that you don't sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat it. Everybody says attitude's everything. Attitude's a choice. You have a choice to have a positive attitude or a negative attitude. And, when you come to our facility, we tell them straight up, like, we can help you do anything you want to do with your life, but you've got to do the work. Yeah. Resources are limited, and if you're not willing to put the work in, don't waste our time. As harsh as it is, you gotta want to do it. It's hard.
But nothing's more powerful than hearing it from somebody who's been through it. The impact you make, someone else can't. I remember being at Walter Reed and a doctor telling me everything I needed to hear, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, whatever, guy, you don't know. But it wasn't until somebody that had been through it had said, then it starts making sense. And that's what I love that you're doing, that you continue to be active and you're making an impact, because, unfortunately, not everybody has that in them. And it's not, that some of us are better than others. We just have different opportunities and different mindsets. And if we can spread that into other people's lives, it changes their lives.
Pay it forward. I mean, I definitely believe, in a pay it forward type of situation, because right after I got hurt, Mark Bonacante had been paralyzed about 10 years, Christopher Reeve, 5 years, another guy in Florida named Daryl Gwynn. All of these people were very helpful in telling me how hard it would be, but also, they can be done. And now, with amazing advances in technology, you can just do anything. I mean, it's like 25 years ago, whether it's rehabilitation equipment or Alexa or Siri or any number of these tools, people can do a lot more than they used to be able to do. So yeah, it's exciting times, and Again, just seeing each and every one of these men and women live fulfilling lives. It's not for everybody. There are people that tap out and say, man, it's just too hard. I'm going to go have a drink, but for the ones that do put the work forth and come out the other side, it's really satisfying.
When you mentioned that, when people come in, you're like, hey, it's going to be hard, but you can do it and we're going to push you, but you got to do the work. It makes me think of, I remember the first time here in Birmingham, Alabama, there's the Lakeshore Foundation, and, they do Paralympic training, and I'd never been challenged more than when I met them, because I remember one time I was talking to a lady and she never thought about getting into swimming. I was like, swimming? Like, I don't have my arm and my leg. She's like, what about Bob over here? He's missing all 4 limbs and he swims. I'm like, oh crap. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't, well, I guess he took my argument away, and that is powerful, because sometimes we need that kick in the butt, and it has to come from certain people. So we understand it.
Yeah. No matter what, man, it can always be worse. And,
Yeah.
right at the beginning, about 5 months into my injury, I did a speaking engagement with Christopher Reeve, and I thought my situation was pretty bad until I got next to him. I mean, the guy couldn't even hold his head up. He had about 6 people 24/7 just to keep him alive, yet he was on the road, fighting the fight, sending a message, raising money, doing research. From that point on, it's like, what do I have to complain about? Get with
He
it.
really helped with the stem cell research, didn't he? Yeah.
Stem cell and rehabilitation. He's really the first notable person out there that said, well, why not? Everybody's like,
Yeah.
You can't cure spinal cord injury. Well, why? It's like that nagging kid, that never stops saying why. That was Chris. He's like, well, why? If you don't think you can, I'm not going to support you. And I'm going to go after those that think we can. And he really got people to thinking like, well, maybe we can fix this, and that was a step of that. Nobody will fill his shoes, but I think a lot of advancements made since then, whether it's Neuralink, whether it's, the great work being done all over the world. But there's also, that's what surprised me about Driven too, was not just spinal cord injury, but brain injury, stroke, MS, transverse myelitis. There's about 20 different disorders that all benefit positively, from our types of intensive rehabilitation. And so, from an early sign, the thing that we did different was we take everybody, regardless of the ability to pay, and we just figure it out. And then we give them access to the mental health services, because I was strong. I was a driver, professional athlete, but most people, you got to have a head screwed on before you can actually get anything out of the physical side of it. So we just make sure ever since early days that it's holistic and it takes a whole approach to it.
Well, now man, I've got so many questions. I don't even know where to start. Okay, the technology side, let's get into this. Tell us about the car that was built basically around you.
Yeah. I can tell you the last 25 years, I've had so many incredible opportunities that weren't even part of my initiative. Just the fact we were helping others and others came to help us. And that was one of them. Aero Electronics, Denver, Colorado, largest distributor of electronic products in the world, which is basically reselling other people's parts. But they also reconfigure stuff in ways that hadn't been used before. So we took a combination of multiple 20-year-old technology parts, put them together, added some software, and 7 months, start to finish, we drove around Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 107 miles an hour the first time, which was the goal. And, since then we've been, 156, then 213, and Pikes Peak, and racing Marlon Andretti, and got my license. So all of that in the course of 8 years. So that is just as your phone is advanced, so as every type of technology, which is key to getting people back to work. That entire situation, proof and point, is because of my regular visits to Craig Hospital and talking to patients and knowing they're one of the leaders. Well, they're in Denver, and that connection and that, pay it forward situation, they're the ones that recommended me to drive the car when approached by Arrow. So, and then they became a team partner. We're doing a lot of things together. So, it just same old adage, right? Treat people right, and it'll pay off. And it's been happening my entire life. Relationship with Broadability on the van side of things. They're just, multiple chapters in the book where I didn't do anything to deserve it other than, do what I say I'm going to do and treat people right. And it just kind of goes around.
So now it's Arrow McLean Racing Team.
Arrow McLaren. Yep, that's the name of the team.
I'm sorry, Arrow McLaren. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
That's
so,
right.
Okay.
You're just a redneck. Everybody else knows who McLaren is.
I know. Yeah. Look, wait, is this not NASCAR? I don't know. It's a whole different ball game.
Well, they did win the F1 championship last year, and they're leading the Formula One points right now with Lando Norris.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, Piastri. So they're doing a great job. Arm driver Pato Award, Kristen Lundgaard, and Nolan Siegel. Those are our three drivers. So.
Well, I remember being with you at the Indy 500, and I'm going to say we, like I'm part of the team. We almost won. Like, I still tell people that story. I was like, we almost won. It was the last turn that guy passed him. And I was like, because I remember one of your buddies was like, that if we would have won, you'd been on our flight to Vegas. I was like, oh, I know. I'd have been calling my wife from the flight. Hey, sorry, I'm not coming home yet.
Yeah, it would have been a hell of a party, but unfortunately, we finished second 2 out of the last 3 years, and we're loaded for bear this year. I think they've got an excellent chance with 4 drivers, including Kyle Larson from NASCAR. He's coming back again this year because it's unfinished business. But about a month out, so we're ready.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so let me ask you this. We mentioned Christopher Reeves. Have you seen the latest documentary, Superman?
I have, yeah.
I loved when I started watching it on a flight, and it starts off with his injury, and I got emotional watching it. I'm sitting next to a stranger, so I stopped it. And on the flight leaving, I went ahead and finished it. But he goes very intimate about sharing some dark times and struggles he had. I would love to ask your opinion of those dark moments you had, and what do you do for your mental health?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that says they've gone through what you've gone through, what I've gone through, it doesn't say they have negative moments or why me or, just on and on, right, is lying, number one. Number two, I think, again, even though my injury is severe, I think I might have had it a little easier because our family, number one's always had a strong faith. When that gets questioned, then I've got an incredibly strong family. We've all stayed together. My dad's injury, mom, two rounds of cancer, my situation. That falls, then I got motorsports community to fall back on. And now just what we're doing with Driven. I mean, I don't have to go very far to find another layer of motivation, another layer of support, encouragement. And a lot of times that's the biggest battle. Like, people just feel they're alone, and there's no answers or nothing they can do about it. It just dealt a raw deal, So we just make sure we're there and try to be as available as possible and try and find out what their goals are so we can try and help them. But like you said, athletics, I mean, that can be a big avenue for somebody. I now, in 25 years, have run into well over 50 people who are in a better situation after their accident than they were before, right? And so, depending on your level of your definition of success, you can be more successful if you put your mind to it.
Oh, I would definitely say that my injury, even with all the dark moments, and it'll still creep up on me. It's been 20 years this year since I was injured, and I was talking to one of my children about it the other day, and I was like, oh, I don't forget that I'm missing an arm or leg. You know what I mean? It's still there. But I think the connection I have with my family and what the warmth I've gotten from the community, you know, to feel that really makes it worth it. And then you said it, if you can help other people, like, and I've said it before to other people, nothing feels better than knowing you made an impact, a positive impact on someone's life. There, you can't put a price tag on that. That's where the value lies, is when you've made a difference. And that's the fact that you have Conquer Paralysis Now and everything that's under it is incredible, because you're making a huge impact on those who are in a dark place, but then also their families, you know, that are in that dark place. People forget how much
Yep.
trauma on someone affects our families and, you know, our children and everything after that. But then at the same time, like you said, being a motivation for your children and showing them that, hey, there's no reason why you can't. That's a powerful thing to do, to offer to your children. And with that, here's a question I have. You'd mentioned in the beginning, you know, not being able to play hoops, you know, not throwing the ball, things like that. We as men get in our head about this idea of masculinity, and we have to be this, that, and whatever. And then it's not until something happens. Well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but what have you overcome, and what realizations have you had as a father, as a man, from who you were prior to your injury and how you view it now post injury?
Well, I mean, prior to injury, I was, one of probably 70, 80 drivers in the world making a living, doing what they love, and, top flight of racing. Now I look at it like I'm a one of one. Like, we have this unique opportunity that, I believe to this point, aside from the hard work, 5-6 hours a day, 5 years, everything I put in to try and get the use of my arms back, I quickly realized that I didn't get them back because I can remain an example of pretty much a worst case scenario. And unless you're on a ventilator, you're not any worse off than me. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for me to tell you what's what in your reality, because, in my opinion, I just don't want to hear it. Like, you have a choice to make, and back to no excuses. Like, I made it happen. Nobody gifted it to me. I had to do the work. I had to find the money. I had to connect the connections. My last name wasn't Andretti or Unser. Just to get to the Indy 500 my first year was a ton of work, And when I got injured, I was naively like, oh yeah, this is no problem. I persevered through a lot worse than this. I can fix this. Well, it didn't take me long to realize it ain't that easy, And spinal cord injury is very complicated. And so, we just kept working and, created a different reality of success, or a different reality of cure, you know what I mean? And so I feel like I've been cured because I'm still here, getting to watch my grandkids grow up, been successful in business, and now I'm having the best time of my life, So that's all anybody can ever ask for.
Yeah, no, I the time I spent with you, we met through a mutual friend, and then you invited me to come be part of. Now it's coming up again. Is there a website people can go to if they're available to go, or if they want to donate to Conquer Paralysis Now? What is it?
Yeah, you can participate from anywhere. It's conquerparalysisnow.org. There is a link, and then in about 2 weeks, you can sign up for and bid on items from anywhere. You can watch a live stream of the evening, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. It'll be live streamed on YouTube from Indianapolis. That is the final day of practice before the Indy 500. Expecting 600 this year. It's our 25th anniversary, so we're elevating everything, and we're going to have a really special surprise entertainer, top level, top drawer that we've never had that before, and excited about it. Indianapolis is helping a lot more lives we can ever help here, and just can't wait to get the rest of the facility filled out so that it'll be thousands more.
Yeah. And I would imagine when something like that is built, it will draw in people to relocate.
Well, all over. I mean, there's so much that's close to Indy in the Midwest. I mean, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Chicago. You start just drawing a circle, even two hours out, and there's millions of people that can benefit from it. Like you said, Lakeshore's down there, but really Lakeshore and Ability 360 are the only top, Olympic training facilities in the country. So we don't want to replicate what's already being done, but if we can fill the gaps and or create some programming that's not, being offered somewhere now, we're going to do it. So I'm excited about that.
I love, and I am honored to know you. You're an incredible person. And like you said, as you were saying, it's hard to find people that are worse off than you. I want to be like, I wouldn't argue with you. You know what I mean? If you told me, Noah, you're going to do that. Okay. Yes, sir. I love what you're doing. Your family, Sheila, Spencer, Savannah, and the grandbaby, what's her name?
London.
Yeah. So I met her. She was little bitty. I am so grateful for the time I spent with everybody. You're an amazing family. Before we wrap up, we do this thing at the end of our podcast where we randomly pull some questions that are three different levels. One's pretty light, gets a little more, and then the last one is a pretty deep question. And I don't know what they are until I'm giving it, my producer gives it to me. And if it's okay, I want to go through three of these questions with you.
Go for it.
All right. First one is light. Favorite comfort food?
Oh, man, I like food.
You got just one.
That's a tough one, but I think it'd have to be just big, juicy, fully loaded cheeseburger. I mean, nothing more than that. Half-pound patty, some combination of cheddar cheese and spicy jack cheese and some lettuce, tomato, and just get into it. That's my favorite, I think.
Do you ever eat smash burgers? That is, if I see a smash burger on a menu, even if I walk in with the intentions of eating something healthy, I'm like, well, no, I'm going to get this smash burger. Yeah, no, I love that. All right, next one. The next one is a little more, see, who in your life, past or present, has had the largest impact on your life?
Yeah, that's an easy one. It's got to be my dad. I mean,
I knew that was on a bit.
Rising through poverty, making a name for himself, going racing, have his life turned upside down, not complain. I haven't heard him complain. He's been paralyzed 51 years and still alive, still going strong, never complains about anything. So again, who am I to complain, right? Having that example. So that was easy.
Yeah. All right. The next one, a little deeper. What's a belief you hold that you definitely defend passionately?
I mean, top of the list is my faith, because I can't imagine anybody going through this without a faith that there's a reason for it and that you can do better things because of it. But I mean, that's another obvious one. But man, I think the other thing I vehemently uphold is just that, if you're willing to do the work and have a passion for something, or the ironic thing is, I used to think passion and purpose were the same thing. I don't think they are anymore, because I can genuinely say that racing has always been and will continue to be my passion, but Conquer Paralysis Now is my purpose. You know what I mean? And used to be the racing got me out of bed, but now the other does. So I defend the fact that once people find out what they're put on earth for, nothing can stand in their way.
I love that. And what you're doing with your purpose is really making an impact. And with that, what is something that you would say to someone who is watching this right now that is in that place, you know what I mean, newly injured, whatever it is they're going through, what piece of advice would you give?
Just, there's all kinds of stuff on the internet. There's all kinds of local organizations pretty much everywhere. Reach out, find a connection, that's one thing. I've had so many people surprised, some different things surprised me about Driven. And one is just the population and the community that has risen up around these types of disabilities. Like the places you work out in, I see the videos. Driven is pumping, music's loud, maybe conflict over what music it is, but whoever's got the key to Alexa has it. But we create a community everywhere we go, and just again, you helping other people will inspire more to do it. And anybody overcoming adversity, you can be an advocate. There's so much you can do. And then if you're not hurt or able-bodied, you can help others, and it's really fulfilling, and, but yeah, just don't give up. Don't give in to the temptation. You can, be successful and go on with life.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to, if you're watching this, we're going to post a link to Conquer Paralysis Now. Share your social media, keep up with what Sam's doing. You're an amazing person, Sam. I am so appreciative you're here, that you let me do this interview. And to everyone that's watching, remember, just like he said, the drive is within you. You have to do the work, find the way, get the community, and start doing the work. There's something that's in there inside of you. You just have to tap into it and just keep living with no excuses.
Congratulations to you too, because I have read the book and I know you've overcome a ton of challenges, and it's been, many rounds with you and your family and your wife and your kids. And I know thank God it came out the way it did, because I think it seems like you're in a good space, and really enjoyed our time together last year, and hope to see you at the track again.
Yeah, you invite me and I'm there. All right. Thank you so much, Sam. I really appreciated you come on this because it means a lot. I know you have a million other things going on, and I'm very grateful for your time.
Well, I didn't know when it was going to air, so I didn't want to say it, but ironically, it just flashed in my brain that I had, for some reason, forgotten you were in Birmingham, and we're going to be down there. At
the Barbers Motor Speedway.
Yeah, not this weekend, but the following one, May 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I get in there Wednesday night. Spencer is racing there in addition to IndyCar. So, any day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's activity on track. He's got practice qualifying racing Friday, Saturday. IndyCar's race there on Sunday. So I don't know if you want to bring your son out, or it's a phenomenal facility and incredible museum. I haven't been down there for the race in about 4 years, but this is the first time.
The museum, the motorcycle museum is amazing. Yes.
But this is the first time Spencer's actually racing there.
I love it. So wait a minute. So you're going to be there. So if I'll shoot you a text, I would love to connect with you. I will come down. My 17-year-old would love that.
Okay, great.
If we could come. Yeah.
I'll look at the schedule, but again, Friday or Saturday is usually the best, just because Spencer racing, and then they have IndyCar practice and IndyCar qualifying. Sunday is the IndyCar race. Just there's like 80,000 people. It's kind of crowded, but he will be done with his racing on Friday and Saturday. But anyway, any day, love to see you. I don't have a lot of responsibility with the team anymore, but love you guys to come down.
That would be awesome. All right. I'm going to put that on my calendar. And has he going to come? Hezzy's talked about coming. He was going to come last year and then he didn't.
Yeah, I can reach out to him. He doesn't, he's really toned down. He hasn't traveled a lot. He's also he took back over as CEO of Tilly's.
Yep. I knew that. Yeah.
You can understand, but he's actually interviewing a former SEAL for the job, and he told me about that last week. But again, between CEO and back and forth, he hasn't been going to much. I'll definitely reach out to him, see if he wants to come. But yeah, all I need is names and date of birth, and we'll get you hooked up.
All right, Sam, I'm gonna let you go.
All right, man.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, great to see you again.